Here is the last example. Let's go ahead and fill these out. Amplitude, period, increment, phase shift, and vertical shift. The amplitude is 3, right? 3. It's the coefficient of the sine or cosine function. Period is going to be 2 pi over b, and your b is the coefficient of x, so it's 2. Therefore, our period is pi. Increment is the period divided by 4, so we're going to be adding by pi over 4 each time. Phase shift, I don't have a phase shift because I don't have a plus or minus sign inside of the function, so I don't have any like left or right movements, so you would say none. And vertical shift, it's the up and down translations. See how that plus 2 could technically be like over here too. See how that's up 2, right? But it's just out here. It's going to be up 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill this out. I'm going from 0 to pi, right, because that's pi units long, and I'm adding by pi over 4 each time, so 0 plus pi over 4 is pi over 4. Add another pi over 4, I get 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, and then 4 pi over 4, which gives you pi. Again, you do not have to reduce, though you are welcome to do so. Now notice here, because we have a vertical shift of up 2, right, at 2, this is my new XY axis right here. I don't have a phase shift, so this is like my new XY axis that I'm going to use. So from 2, right, my amplitude is 3, so I would go up 3 from there, giving me 5, and down 3 from here, giving me -1 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and graph my positive sine graph from my new XY axis. So sine curves start at the intercept. Because this is positive, it's going to go to the max, intercept, then go to the minimum, and then back to the intercept. So if I connect them all together, right, not drawn to scale, it would look like the following. My maximum is at 5, and my minimum is at -1. I want to mention the application in sound and music. So sound travels in waves like a sine wave. And each musical note has a specific frequency. So the number of cycles that occur in 1 second, and that can be measured in hertz. So for example, let's say if I had like a piccolo, which has a higher pitch, it would have a shorter period length, right? So it would be like shorter, right? So you have more cycles, right, per second, versus like a lower pitch, like a tuba, it would have fewer cycles per second, right? So it would have a lower frequency. The amplitude of the wave corresponds to the volume of the sound. So the greater the amplitude, the louder it is. Like think speaker amplifiers, right? The smaller the amplitude, right, the softer the sound is.